Okay. Okay, now be honest. How many of you, by a show of hands, came in just because of the title of the lecture? Come on, hands up, hands up. There we go. I don't blame you. It's certainly an intriguing lecture and sure to be an interesting lecture for you to enjoy. But our second lecturer for our voyage has been in love with the sea since he was a very young boy, and now that interest turned into a passion for him as an adult. And this passion has taken him to remote places around the world, and has also produced many documentaries on the subject worldwide. They have been broadcast and as well as received many awards for those documentaries. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please welcome Adam Cropp.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dottie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to see you've all joined me here this afternoon. Now, I do have quite an interesting little lecture for you this afternoon. It is a two-part lecture, and we'll conclude with a second part on our way to New Zealand. The first one, nice and light, nice and easy, and we're just going to talk a little bit about some of my experiences and also dabble into a bit of the sexual reproduction of marine creatures as well. Now, I'm a little bit different to most lecturers. I don't like to just talk to people. I like to have an interaction. So if you have any questions, any comments, any other things you'd like to point out, please feel free to shout out at any stage, okay? Now, a little bit about me. Well, I grew up in the ocean, and I grew up in a family of documentary makers, to be exact. This is my brother here, and this is me at the tender age of about 8, okay, looking down the barrel of a World War II gun in Truck Lagoon. So I pretty much grew up, I could definitely swim before I could walk, and yeah, traveled the world with my family making documentaries. Now, it is a two-part. This first part is just a general sort of introduction, mainly dolphins, sharks, and turtles. I have a bit of Q&A as well, and I have a fabulous little video produced in America called The Green Porno, and it pretty much covers what I cover, but a little bit more succinctly, so I'd like to show you that one. Part 2, well, we get into the bit of the technical aspect of this. We'll also do a little bit of whale ID, whale identification, to show you some of the whales you might see on our crossing over to New Zealand, and then we'll delve into the big questions. Bit of freaky animal behaviour, and of course a few conclusions of my own. Now, the three most common questions that somebody in my field gets are these ones. Do animals have sex for fun? Do any animals masturbate? And are any animals homosexual? I'll let you think about those ones for the next few days, and I will answer. All will be revealed in a few days. So talk amongst yourselves on those ones over dinner. Okay. Does anybody know this name? Name of this fish? Nemo, of course, of course. Hands up, who's seen Nemo? Finding Nemo? Quite a few of you? Good. I worked with kids for about 3 years, and Finding Nemo was the saving grace, because you always just refer back to Finding Nemo, and they love you. So, Nemo is a very interesting character. This is called a true clownfish, is its proper title, and or an anemone fish. Now, anemone fish live in an anemone, which is like a big, sort of like a jellyfish that's attached to the bottom. Lots of stinging cells, and any fish that swims in there gets stung, gets paralyzed, and gets consumed by both the anemone and also the little anemone fish that are in there. But the interesting thing, of course, is the erotica of the anemone fish. Now, you'll notice that there's all little small ones, and there's always one big one. And that, ladies, you'll be glad to know, is the female. She is the boss. She controls the whole anemone and all the males that are contained within it. Now, the interesting thing is when the female leaves, so she dies or goes shopping or something like that, she leaves the anemone, what happens is all the males then grow as fast as they can. They grow exponentially, and they grow really, really big, and the one that's the most successful at growing the biggest, the quickest, will become the dominant female and bite all the other ones to make sure they stay males, and then she will take control of the anemone. Now, for those of you who have seen Finding Nemo, in the first 10 minutes of that film, what did they get incorrect? Anybody? Thinking back, it's a hard one. Right at the front of Finding Nemo, at the very start, Nemo's mum, whose name is Coral, dies. And all that's left is Nemo and his dad, Marlin. Now, technically, Nemo's dad, Marlin, should have become Nemo's mum, Coral, and then Nemo should have become the male partnered with his previous dad. But of course, the little kiddies probably wouldn't have understood that, so they left that out of the film. But it just sort of gets you a bit of an example of how interesting the sex lives of fish really are. Now, to get a little bit romantic on you, this is a butterfly fish. Very, very common fish. You see them all around underwater. Just got a quick little movie here of a few. You generally see them in a large school like this, but also you'll see a lot of them just in pairs, always in pairs. You will never ever see a butterfly fish by itself because it is a highly romantic fish. When it finds itself a partner, it will hook up with that partner and it will stay with that one partner its whole entire life, which is a lot better than us. What do we average these days? 7 years is the average marriage. They last their entire lifetime together, which is between 6 to 7 years, but that's beside the point. They're so romantic, in fact, that if these fish were to, if one of the partners was to die, the other one will just stay in the same spot and starve itself to death. They always die together. So very, very romantic fish indeed. And of course, very colourful as well. So if you're ever swimming on the reef systems around the world and you see a butterfly fish, very recognisable by a lot of yellow and a black stripe over its eye, always look for its partner as well. This is called a long-nosed butterfly fish. Some of the most pretty reef fish that you get are these ones called angelfish. This is a regal angelfish, and they're exactly the same. They also mate for life, and there's the partner right there, and you'll always find them with that partner right up until the day they die. So very, very romantic fish. These are called rabbitfish. Can anybody guess what they do? You're correct. Moving on. These are hump-headed Maori wrasse. Over in the Caribbean, they're sometimes described as Napoleon wrasse. Has anybody ever seen one of these before? Yeah, a couple of people. They're quite an interesting fish. This is a female. They start off their lives as females. About on their 8th or 9th birthday, they'll slowly transform into a male. And the markings, of course, the reason why we call it a Maori wrasse is because these markings closely resemble the tattoos that you'll find on the native New Zealanders, the Maori people. That's where the name comes from. So, once it gets to about its 9th birthday, it turns into a very, very large fish, up to about 2 meters in size, and bright iridescent green, and a big hump on its head as well. It'll develop a territory, very, very territorial, and they will chase sharks out of that territory. Now, they're very friendly towards humans, though. Has anybody dove out of Cairns? Up top of Queensland? There's a few people there. You might have met this guy. His name is Wally. And there's actually 35 fish, all called Wally, and they all look exactly the same, and we just call them the one fish. And very, very friendly. You can hug, you can pat him, you can do whatever you like. And this guy was not actually trained by humans as per se. But every single morning we would do a deep dive where we'd show people the effects of pressure at 30 meters, and we would take down red-coloured objects which would appear black, and we'd also take down an egg which we'd put into a bottle that it couldn't fit in on the surface, but under pressure it could fit.